Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Beyond the Ring podcast. I am your host, Andrew, and I am, of course, always being joined by the absolutely handsome one,
What is up, guys? Feeling a little bit better, being able to do it this week. Last week we were both under the weather, so sorry about that, but you win some, you lose some, but we're here this week, so we're good.
Definitely. Last week we both weren't feeling good, so we just pushed it back, which was a good decision in my opinion. But anyway, that's I guess beside the point. Excuse me. So we're just coming off the heels of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which means that now that the Elimination Chamber is out of the way, that pay-per-view is out of the way, that pay-per-view is done, that can only mean one thing, and that is that we are officially on the road to WrestleMania. And a big return coming out of, I should say 3 big returns coming out of, out of last night. And, the big one, in my opinion, being The Undertaker's return, which to me officially signifies the return or the road to WrestleMania. The road to WrestleMania is like really heating up, has really begun since The Undertaker is back.
Yeah, and in my opinion, looks better than last year, but just to add to that, but there was a few big returns, but you always gotta give it to Undertaker when he comes back because he always makes the biggest pop for the crowd. So, and I think we'll get into that topic in a little bit, but yeah.
Well, we can get into that topic now if you would like.
Okay. Well, with his opponent being the Beast, or the Brock Lesnar, however you want to put him or say him, but I'm not. I do like it different. I kind of see where they did it, where kind of Brock Lesnar is like unstoppable and can't be beaten really right now, and the only person that can hopefully beat him is the one who hasn't been beaten at WrestleMania. And I think it's gonna be a good match, and I really, really hope they don't let Brock beat him, but with him getting older, who knows how much longer he's going to be around.
I'm right there with you. I just, I don't think Brock Lesnar is the one to do it. I don't feel that they will give ending the streak to Brock Lesnar, but that's beside the point. It's still going to make an excellent matchup. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good match.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good match. It's interesting. I was while Monday Night Raw was going on, they advertised the return of Brock Lesnar, and I was wondering in what capacity Brock Lesnar was going to come back in. Because there was really 2 directions they could go with it. Judging from what happened the last time Brock Lesnar was on WWE TV when he was trying to get that match with Dave Bautista and get into the championship picture, I was wondering if they were maybe going to get him in there and make it a triple threat for the championship at WrestleMania, or if he was going to get in there with The Undertaker. We found out tonight that he's going to be getting in there with the Dead Man.
And like I said, I think that was probably the best thing for him. I mean, Randy Orton and Batista is another thing. That's probably another thing we'll talk about, but I don't even want to see that. So seeing Brock Lesnar and Undertaker is gonna be good. And like we both agreed on, hopefully he will not be the one to end it. But who knows?
Yeah, and allow me to, one of the first things that jumped out to me last night when I was watching was, god damn, that the attire of The Undertaker last night was just freaking awesome. Like, whatever he had on it, I love that he, keeps that facade and that attire and like almost his look and his clothes slowly change kind of with him every year. So it's not like you're just seeing the same thing, and you're not just seeing the same thing, and you know, it doesn't feel repeated because it feels kind of new and fresh, and like it changes up every year. It gets a little darker or a little different. His attire really stuck out. I thought it was awesome.
And I agree with you there wholeheartedly. I think this year especially it looked pretty badass. I think it was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, and I think it went very well with the new and slightly changed up way that he has his facial hair going on this year. When I saw it, I almost felt like I almost wanted to say he was kind of, I mean, he was obviously the one to do it first, but it was almost like for lack of a better person to think of right now, almost like a CM Punk situation where, I mean, we do only see The Undertaker once a year, so it is different, but it's almost like, you know, Punk maybe every, maybe 6 to 8 months. Every 6 to 8 months, Punk, will, like, update his look a little bit, like, grow different, let his facial hair be slightly different, and let his hair on top of his head be slightly different. And that just keeps his look looking fresh and different, and his character being fresh as well. Because you don't feel like you're just seeing the same thing over and over again, whereas with somebody like a John, I mean, not picking him out for any particular reason, but, whereas it'd be somebody like a John Cena where, like, he's had the same haircut and no facial hair. Like, he's had the same look. He may change up shirts and stuff, but he's had the same look for a number of years now.
Yeah, and Randy Orton is another one he switches up his stuff. But, yeah, I would have to agree that I even like it when they do that. Just, it's different, and Undertaker's was pretty phenomenal, honestly, especially with the attire he was wearing.
Yeah. Now, there was a moment inside of me that thought maybe it was not going to be The Undertaker, because I was sitting there saying to myself, like, Undertaker doesn't do, like, tables and actual contract signings. Like, when I noticed that there was, like, a table there and an actual contract to sign on there, there was, like, a split moment where I was like, maybe there's, like, some crazy way that, like, this is going to somehow be, like, CM Punk, and we're going to get the long-rumored Undertaker Sting, and they're kind of, like, throwing everybody aside. I don't, saying it out loud and thinking about it, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If CM Punk's going to come back, he's got to fight against the Authority in some way, shape, or form, and at this point, I don't believe he's going to come back, although I am kind of keeping to my original thought that if CM Punk does not come back Monday night in Chicago, that he's not coming back, that he will not be there for WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that would be this Monday coming up.
Yes, this Monday coming.
Yeah, and I think right there with you again. If he doesn't come back this week, I don't know if we'll see CM Punk back in WWE under the contract he's under right now.
Or we could see him come. Here's my thing: is that we could see him come back, but in my opinion, you won't see him for WrestleMania if he's not there for the first Monday in March, which is in Chicago.
And I hope he is, because it would just make sense to have him come back in his hometown.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting next week. I think they're really gonna have to give us a lot of things that we want to see, or a lot of things that the live audience is going to want to see, so that way they can try to combat the CM Punk chance. Kind of thinking that we're going to get a good, healthy dose of a very athletic, long, main event type of match with Daniel Bryan, because the audience will be so enthralled with chanting yes that they won't be, chanting CM Punk. I'm assuming we'll probably see a good, healthy match with Antonio Cesaro. I'm just thinking out loud that the WWE is probably aware of the fact that they're going to be in Chicago on Monday, and if they don't have CM Punk, that they're going to do everything they can to not get that audience to completely take over that show, because that Chicago crowd will take over the show, and the CM Punk chants will be absolutely insane.
Yeah, and it's going to be definitely the worst. We've heard it in Chicago, so I think the Daniel Bryan main event, if Punk's not there, wouldn't be too far-fetched. And like you said, there'll be Cesaro. We'll probably see a bunch of people that just are put over with the fans. So
Yep.
I think that too.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Monday Night Raw. Excellent. I mean, pretty much been talking about The Undertaker so far, but it was a good Raw as well. Daniel Bryan going against Corporate Kane, and then after beating Kane, pretty much challenging Triple H to a match at WrestleMania, which we all saw coming, especially with CM Punk leaving. It, in my opinion, as soon as we saw CM Punk leave, that meant Daniel Bryan was going to get his spot, and Daniel Bryan was going to wrestle Triple H at WrestleMania. And I don't know what Daniel Bryan's original spot was going to be. Maybe it was the rumored Undertaker streak match, or maybe he would have been in triple threat with Batista and Randy Orton. I'm not sure. But he's pretty much officially laying out the challenge for Triple H at WrestleMania. You got to assume that eventually Triple H is going to answer yes, and we're going to see Daniel Bryan versus Triple H.
And I'm all for that match. I would have been for if Punk was there too, because both of them, honestly, were the top guys in my opinion, they were the top guys. But yeah, I'm right there with you again. I think Bryan is a good fit there too. It's like, honestly, the way the storyline's been going with the Authority and Bryan, it's made sense, and it's going to be a good ending. And I in the back of my mind, I just have this bad feeling Triple H is not going to let Daniel Bryan win. And if you're Triple H, you have to. How can you not have Daniel Bryan win this match?
Yeah,
he doesn't. It's just that I hope he does not put his name out there and just not want to lose, because that wouldn't be right.
Yeah, making sense to me, and I'll be honest, I do believe that that Triple H will do the right thing, and that he will. I don't want to say he'll do the right thing and lay down for Daniel Bryan, because that's not the right way to put it. But I do believe that he's going to do what's best for business, and that is to have Daniel Bryan defeat Triple H, or defeat him, and at WrestleMania. I think it makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for Daniel Bryan to lose this match. He's got that momentum, and I think we're gonna slowly aim towards that momentum. And I would not be surprised if we have, possibly some interesting rivalries going on after here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Batista-Daniel Bryan rivalry out of this, where Batista wins the championship, Daniel Bryan's going for the championship. We get a full Batista heel turn. Maybe Daniel Bryan will eventually win the championship. And I've been saying it for a while. I think 2014 is going to be the year of Cesaro. And if that's the case, I would not be surprised if at one of the pay-per-views later in the year we get a main event of Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro for the championship. And I would not be surprised at all either if in fact, I want to see this match put the shoe on the other foot, and John Cena comes up and challenges Daniel Bryan for the championship. We get John Cena, Daniel Bryan number 2. They put on an excellent match at SummerSlam.
And another guy you always got to think about, when the Shield split up happens, Roman Reigns could be in there too.
I agree. Roman Reigns would be an interesting pick to throw in there. So a lot of options. Continuing on, Cesaro and Jack Swagger are looking like they are heading towards a breakup.
Yeah, and I did want to touch. I did want to say, Big E and Cesaro had a great match. That match was awesome. The fans were into it. I was sitting on the edge of my seat. I did like that match. But at the end of the match, you did see Swagger did screw Cesaro, and it looks like we're gonna see a crumble of the tag team division. Honestly, that's what it looks like we're gonna see.
And I wonder if we're going to see an awesome tag team match at WrestleMania. I really think that the Usos are on their way to winning the championship at WrestleMania. I think that is where this is all going to end. Sorry, I pretty much went off on a tangent at that point. For a moment here, we talk about Cesaro and Swagger. I do think Cesaro and Swagger are on a collision course to break up. I do find it interesting that they're running this breakup at the same time that they are running the Shield breakup. And maybe what will happen is the Real Americans will last a little bit longer than the Shield. I still believe that the Shield is destined to compete in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. Maybe what will happen is we'll have a fatal four-way or a four-corner tag team match for the tag titles at WrestleMania. We'll get Cody Rhodes and Goldust, the Usos, New Age Outlaws, and the Real Americans, and have an excellent, amazing 14 tag team match. That could end with Real Americans breaking up, maybe.
And honestly, I want to see Cesaro back in the singles division. I think he's an awesome wrestler. I think he's starting to get put over with the fans. I think singles is where he's gonna shine. And like you said, the year Cesaro in 2014, I do not have a problem with that. Cesaro impresses me, and I would love to see him in the main event spot more often.
Absolutely. And again, I think the way they're building this, that 2014 is going to be the year of Cesaro. And you know what? Maybe it would not have been such a big year of Cesaro if CM Punk had not stepped down. You never know.
Yeah. But just by the way, to throw that out there, out of nowhere, he did change. I mean, not out of nowhere, but well, it really was out of nowhere. But he changed his name. It's not Antonio Cesaro anymore. It's just Cesaro.
Yeah. I think that was last week. I feel like maybe it was 2 weeks ago that we were talking about how he's now just Cesaro, does not have Antonio on there, and that Big E Langston is now just the Big E.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
If we talked about it 2 weeks ago, or if we were going to talk about it last week, but then didn't get a chance because of due to being sick.
Yeah. So I really don't have a problem with the name change. It sounds alright. I can live with it. It's different. Big E.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird. But, oh well, guess we'll get over it.
Yeah.
So, I can't believe that we haven't talked about this yet. But Raw opened up, start of the show, Hulkamania running wild in the WWE one more time.
Yeah, and that almost confused me because I have heard that he's going to be at WrestleMania, and I don't know if that means a match for him. I don't think he'll be in the match. I think he's going to be. I've heard he's going to be inducting the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be in a match. I don't think he can get medically cleared to be in a match, to be honest.
Yeah, but it was cool to see him. I didn't expect to see him in Wisconsin, more maybe a California road trip. I would have thought to see him, but I mean, it is the road to WrestleMania, so I kind of not figured, but I thought we'd see him at least once, maybe.
You must have missed the WWE.com was, and they were announcing it on their social media outlets as well, on like Facebook and Twitter and all that. They were announcing that Hulk Hogan was the host for WrestleMania 30 and that he was going to be on Monday Night Raw this week. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to be on any other Raws leading up to WrestleMania. I'm probably assuming that no, he won't, but I do know that they had announced that he was going to be on Monday Night Raw last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he came out and he, did his normal Hulk Hogan thing. The crowd ate it up. I personally ate it up. It was an awesome moment, and I was kind of the guy who was a little annoyed by the whole. Well, I don't want to say annoyed, but I don't know. I just wasn't digging the whole Hulk Hogan and TNA thing. Maybe it was because when he came into TNA, he brought, there ended up being a bunch of pointless other Goonies in there with him, and he was with Eric Bischoff, and they did a whole kind of almost revamp of taking over NWO crap almost, kind of, sort of, and maybe that's the whole reason why I didn't like it. I was a person who's, kind of very critical about what Hulk Hogan was doing for TNA, and I gotta say I marked out for the WWE, and, maybe the part of the reason why I was being so annoyed and stuff with his TNA run was because he just wasn't really giving respect to that company, in my opinion. But that's a different story. We could go, a whole hour special on Hulk Hogan and TNA. But he's back in the WWE. I think it's great to have him hosting WrestleMania 30. I think he's the perfect choice to be doing such a thing, and I look forward to him probably having 3 to 4. Very funny and interesting and good backstage segments at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, I would assume he's gonna do a few of them. Like you said, that would make sense that he wouldn't be in a match just because there's no way he would be medically cleared to be in a match. I'm pretty sure it's his back that's really bad. Yeah, that would make sense. I wasn't, I guess, socially there last week, so I didn't get any updates that he was going to be the host.
Yeah. Yeah, that was put out there. Yeah, going on. Batista. We got it at the Elimination Chamber. We got it again last night on Monday Night Raw. It wasn't as loud and didn't last as long as it did at the Elimination Chamber. It was very loud and proud at the Elimination Chamber, but Batista chants breaking out in the audience on both nights. The audience busting out a Batista chant. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, and I think the fans are with the same mindset as us. that it's not fair that he's coming to get the title shot after how many years he's been out. So I think they're on the same page as us, and I would be doing the same thing. I'm not a fan of this Triple H or not Triple H, this Randy Orton Batista match at WrestleMania. So I think it's pretty entertaining and, in my opinion, pretty funny to hear.
Yeah, when Randy Orton came out after the match, they cut his promo on Batista. It felt like there was like a moment, at least to me, where it felt like they were maybe trying to shift it a little bit, and maybe it was almost like, well, we know they're going to boo Batista. There's almost like nothing we can do. They're going to boo Batista. They just don't want Batista. Maybe we can, turn this around a little bit and turn Batista into the heel and turn Randy Orton into the face in this rivalry. But then it really felt like it wasn't. I don't know. I don't feel like it would work unless Randy Orton were to maybe go back to being his crazed 2008, 2009 when self with that WWE Championship reign. I don't know if it's whatever they're doing, it's not working, and I really want them to go after. What I really want is a third person to get put into this match. I don't think anybody cares about this match at all, and I think the audience at WrestleMania is going to eat these guys alive.
Yeah, no,
the third person does not get put into this match.
Yeah, and I think a good person to be put in this match, out of just wanting to see him in a main event stage again, I think maybe Cesaro, but I don't know how they would have put him in there. That's just a name to put out there, but I'm with you on the whole fact that this match is going to get crapped on, big time. There's no good way to put this. It's gonna be worse than John Cena and Randy Orton for what the time it would be, but it's gonna be bad. And I think if they don't put a third person in this match, it's gonna be they're gonna hate it.
Yeah, I don't think it makes. And Cesaro would be an interesting person to put into that match. I don't think it makes sense to have Cesaro be a person that's in the match.
Yeah, no, that was just somebody I would want in the match. It wasn't really a logical answer.
I got you. I don't know. It's rough. I can guarantee you if they decide to keep this match, and it is if they keep this match and it's just a one-on-one match, and they don't make it a triple threat match, and it's just Batista Orton, I can't see them going on last at WrestleMania. In fact, I can pretty much 100% predict that they won't go on last at WrestleMania. If that's the case, then I will see either then I'll see either The Undertaker and Lesnar as being last, or the more likely option would be that Triple H, Daniel Bryan would be last on the card.
Yeah, I think if Daniel Bryan doesn't go last at WrestleMania, the crowd's going to be out of it for whatever matches are still to come, unless it's Taker, because they don't crap on him. But it doesn't make sense to put Randy Orton and Batista in the last match. I think half the fans will leave. I think it will be an empty arena match.
Empty arena match. That's funny. That's a good one. Yeah. So I think we, pretty much covered all the big headlining points. The other big thing that happened this week was last night was the launch of the WWE Network. The WWE Network launched to a lot of people having issues with it.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't purchased it myself yet, but I have heard that there's been a lot of difficulty being able to watch their matches, and like we were talking about earlier, the free trial thing might be the case that if you don't put the whole account thing together. But I think all in all it will work. I think the network's going to be a good thing for a lot of fans. It's going to mean a lot of money saved over the time, and I think it's a good investment they put in.
Yeah, see, a lot of people were ragging on. I'm like, okay, it launched. I get it. There's a lot of people going in there doing stuff, and there's going to be problems. There's problems with absolutely everything that you try to do online on day one, because there's so many people trying to get a hold of it, so many people trying to get into it, and this and that. You're always going to have problems on day one. It's how you handle it after a day or two is what is, really going to determine what happens. I think that if everybody gives it a few days, maybe even a week, that everything will be great. I ran into a problem. I think the problem is with the 1 week free trial. I think the problem is with the 1 week free trial, and that if you just flat out sign up for it, then the problems are not there. At least that was the experience that I had. I was having issues with the 1 week free trial, I clicked on and just went and signed up for it and finished creating my account, and that's what worked. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to watch NXT Arrival, 2 hour, kind of almost NXT pay-per-view, if you will, on Thursday. I'm excited for that. There's a few things up there. Their whole content library with the pay-per-views and all that is up there already. Their first week's content, is good. Their first week's content is up there. Like the very first episode of WWE Countdown is up on there, which is the top 10 catchphrases. And if you recall, WWE Countdown is a show where where the fans voted in. So on WWE.com over the last year, I think, or over the last couple of weeks, couple of months, the WWE fans voted on what everything should be. So it's basically a fan-based voting show, and all the episodes are going to be up there every week when the episode is new, which I believe is on Tuesday nights for WWE Countdown. When the episode becomes new, it will be added there as also as on-demand content. I think the network's going to be big things, and I think I'm going to be, end up watching a lot more WWE, WCW, and ECW with the launch of this network.
Yeah, and I think when I get it, I think one of the first things I'm going to do is look back on some old pay-per-views, some like Eddie Guerrero days, just relive the old wrestling. To me, at least, that's my old wrestling.
Absolutely. You absolutely have that right. I plan on going back and watching some stuff from my childhood, watching some stuff that, I've maybe only seen clips of, watching other stuff. I think it's going to be awesome. And, the longer the WWE Network is out there, the more content that's going to be uploaded, be created, get out there. I think just, great things from here with the WWE Network. I wish I could give you guys a full review of some stuff or how things played out, but I really haven't gotten a chance to dive into different things and all that. Unfortunately. But yeah, I do want to cover something before we go over to the question of the week, and then we sign off here. Absolutely awesome is the only word I can think of to describe the Wyatt family versus the Shield from Elimination Chamber on Sunday night.
Yeah, that was absolutely phenomenal. I didn't get to really tune in the Elimination Chamber too much, but I made sure to watch that match. I watched that. It was awesome. It was a great match, and we saw Bray ended up winning with the Sister Abigail to, I think it was Roman Reigns. But one thing I thought that was pretty funny, I seen like a meme, and it was like a milk carton. It was like, where did Ambrose go? Because like soon as he jumped over the barricade, we didn't see him after that. I just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, but all in all, that was one of the best matches we've seen, and definite match of the year candidate.
Excuse me. Yeah, it is. It was an awesome match. It had everything I loved, and I thought it was the perfect plan to have the Shield be the catalyst of kind of the baby faces in the match, and have them be the ones who get the hot tag. The whole Roman Reigns fight back 3-on-1 thing was awesome. Seth Rollins being put through the table. Everything that Dean Ambrose did was solid gold as always. And I wanted to point out, because I don't think a lot of people, a lot of people may have realized this subconsciously, but didn't put two and two together. The psychology of this match was off the chains, and the psychology of this match was just perfect, because they had the Shield got beat, and like that doesn't happen very often, but the Shield got beat. And when they got beat, it was because they were divided and conquered by the Wyatts. Maybe a slight miscommunication, and that had them get, divided. As you saw, Dean Ambrose got taken out, and they brought it up again on Monday Night Raw. Dean Ambrose got taken out, and he was almost like, nowhere to be seen. And then they threw Seth Rollins through the table so they could 3-on-1 assault Roman Reigns and be able to beat him. So they used the divide and conquer, and that was that was pretty much saying, without saying, that you need to divide and conquer and do that to defeat the Shield. You can't beat the Shield at their game. You can't beat them in that 6-man tag match. You can't beat them when they're together as a unit. You needed to break them apart, which not only makes the Shield look strong, even though they lost the match, it makes the Shield look strong. It makes the Wyatts look even stronger, because they were the first group to be able to divide and conquer and beat the Shield that way, and like not just pin them 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I can't believe they got a quick one on us, but to basically massacre the Shield. And I just loved that they had that psychology in the match that happened.
Yeah, and that's something I forgot to touch on. That I did really like how they did the Roman Reigns comeback though. That was pretty cool.
That was awesome. I was going for it. And when Ambrose wasn't there, when Ambrose was taken out and he wasn't there at first, I really thought for a moment, I was like, in my head I was kind of like, oh, this match could go another good, 5 or 6 minutes where, like, Roman Reigns kind of fights back, like, is able to knock whoever it is off of him, and then Dean Ambrose will come like out of the crowd up onto the apron and get the hot tag, and Dean Ambrose will do a cool little hot tag sequence, and then have the Wyatts beat down and beat him So trying to keep Roman Reigns be this strong man and all this other stuff, I really thought that was what was going to happen, and it didn't. Which I don't want to. It wasn't bad at all. There was nothing wrong with that, but it was interesting. It was very either way. It was very well done. I was just saying, for a moment, I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, it was different. I honestly did not see Roman Reigns being the person to be pinned in that match. I was expecting Rollins or Ambrose.
Yeah, I really didn't think it was going to be. You're right. I really thought it was going to be them. Or it was going to be one of them. I especially really thought it was going to be Ambrose with the way they're building the Shield, but it was not. So Jason, why don't you take us over to the question of the week?
Well, we've been talking about them for the past 5 minutes, and we're looming on the Shield breakup. So this isn't really a question. Well, it is a question, but it's an opinionated question. We're gonna do it. It's not really like a game type thing, but it's push one, keep one, and it's usually fire one. But since it's with the Shield, I don't even want to have to choose one to fire. So I'm just gonna say, let's change that to like a new gimmick. But you have to push one, keep one, and then change the gimmick. What would you? It's basically which one would you pick for that position?
Very interesting. Let's see. Okay. Here's what I would do, and I do want to hear what you would do after I go. I would push Roman Reigns, keep Ambrose, and I would repackage Seth Rollins.
And mine's a little bit different. I was gonna say let's push Ambrose, keep Reigns, and change the gimmick of Rollins, just because of Reigns having he's seemed to have it push this whole way through the breakup of the Shield. He's been the big man, so give somebody else, and I think Ambrose would be the right guy to push.
Yeah, I think if you were to ask most people, you would probably get the push and the keep between Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, and you would probably get the repackage on Seth Rollins probably every time, in my opinion. Not that Seth Rollins is doing anything wrong, but it's the fact that Ambrose and Reigns are doing so much right and so much good that you can't, you don't want to repackage what they have.
Honestly, I think the
position. Yeah, it's not anything Seth Rollins is doing wrong. He's doing absolutely nothing wrong. He's awesome. He's doing exactly what he should do. It's perfect. I think it's just the fact that Ambrose and Reigns are just maybe doing it a little bit more right than he is.
Yeah, no, honestly, I think the way they're I think. What's the wording for this? They are the way the Shield's gimmick is. I think Ambrose and Reigns have it down pat, and I think Rollins, honestly, I mean, he's pretty good, but the two people that stand out to me are them two, with this gimmick and the way they are. So I think a change of gimmick to any of them would have to go to Rollins.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we're just about out of time for this week's episode, and I'll make sure that I get this up because I know that we were not healthy and did not record last week, but there was 2 weeks ago where I never got around to uploading the episode, so I'm going to make sure that I get that episode uploaded this week. Definitely, especially because there's so much going on. We're officially on the road to WrestleMania. Jason, is there a place that the people can find you?
JFly55 on Twitter.
Awesome. And you guys can find me at Kai Talk on Twitter. This is Beyond the Ring Podcast, and we are officially signing off for this week, and we will catch you guys next week.